a couple of minutes late. Sorry for being a little bit late. How are you guys? Hopefully you had a great Monday evening. Okay, this week is flying fast already, and I'm into my second live. I have 4 lives for you this week. If you didn't catch yesterday's live, it's on my grid, it's on my Facebook. You can catch up with that. So you'll kind of see where I'm coming from a bit with what I'm doing and the choices that I've been making in the last 5 months. And I'm sharing with you the reasons behind those, because I think it can really help you in your business kind of figure out the decisions to make. And sometimes we have really hard decisions to make. And it's normally when either life happens or we feel stuck or we don't really feel aligned with what we're doing. And I always kind of roll my eyes when people are like, I don't feel aligned. But really what I mean by that, because I'm not very like woo-woo. I'm very much into like trusting your intuition and your gut. But I don't like to think of myself as very fluffy, right? I'm quite black and white. I'm quite like, okay, let's get this done. But you do have to listen to what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And if any of you have had it where sometimes you just have this like gut instinct or gut feeling about something and you ignore it, and then further down the line, something happens and you're like, oh, that's actually what I thought, but I ignored the feeling, then that is a sign that actually, if you trust your instinct, but you've got to be brave to do that. And I understand it. And let's talk this morning about why I walked away from a launch that guaranteed me 250,000 in revenue to do something else instead. And if you told me that I would have done that like a couple of years ago, I'd just laughed in your face. I'm like, why would anyone do that? Like, who would do that? That is not sensible. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But here I am, having done that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it might just think about how you change something in your business too. So if you've ever felt like you were constantly chasing in your business. I meet a lot of business owners that feel like this, like they have this constant like rushed feeling, maybe like they're not doing enough, or I should be doing more of this, or I should be showing up more, or I should be creating more content, or I should be posting more. Like the feeling that you could always be doing more. Then this live is going to be for you. Maybe you feel like you're chasing sales or you're launching over and over again with nothing to do in between, right? You're like, okay, so I've made this money and now I just go into delivery, but like, what's next? Oh yeah, I just got to do that again. And that's what I was. I just had a launch. Just had a launch strategy in my business for a long while. I loved it and it worked incredibly well because my launch system is amazing. But you can get stuck in a cycle and it can leave you feeling a little bit exhausted. Not at the beginning because it's exciting and you're like, oh my God, I love this and it brings the results. But a lot of people can get stuck for a couple of reasons. So if that is you and you can resonate, see Charlotte resonates there, then stop multitasking. Whatever you're doing right now, stop multitasking. Stay with me on this live because this might open your eyes up a little bit. So I had a big shift when I decided not to do the launch. And I think it was like September time. I was meant to be gearing up for my January launch. So I would start just tweaking and twisting. Knew it would bring in 250,000, had the strategy. I have a launch system. It's a rinse and repeat system. And I love that putting a launch strategy into your business is a great idea for big cash injections. And the great thing about my launch system is that once you've done it once, you've done the big bulk of the work, right? So all you have to do after that, not all you have to do, but it's a rinse and repeat, right? So you implement it and then you keep doing it over and over so that you can just tweak bits. If you change it too dramatically, you're not sure like what works and what doesn't. And I like to base a launch strategy on data, like see what worked, tweak a little bit, run it again, tweak a little bit, run it again. By doing that, you also, like, your business becomes maths. in terms of predictable revenue. So, you know, if you get 1,000 people into a group for a challenge or a webinar or whatever, 100 people will buy. Let's say you convert at 10%. At that point, you can then figure out, okay, well, I want to make X amount of money. So how many people do I need in the group to make X amount of sales to make X amount of money? So it does really become more of a science, I guess. So in September, October time, I was doing some tweaking for my January launch. I had the audience building strategy going. That was working incredibly well. So my audience growth strategy brings me in 2,000 minimum new ideal clients onto my email list in my off months. So when I'm not launching. And then when I'm launching, you are way more visible. I spend some money on ads, nothing crazy, but I do spend some money on ads. And then you know that that figure, that 2,000 is going to double, treble, maybe quadruple, depending what my launch goals are. So that was dialed into, right? So I had my launch system, my rinse and repeat system, had my audience growth absolutely dialed in and sorted. I was ready for a really big launch. Had the offer, it converts. I know that I've got a high conversion, so it was really all ready to go. But I started to pay attention to how I was feeling. Always a problem, isn't it? Acknowledging how you feel. So I made a bold decision to follow my instinct, trust my gut. And what I decided to do, when I say take 5 months off, it's not like I've, not done anything for 5 months. I've been planning, right? But I decided to take 5 months off from launching, doing a big launch, and focus on creating. Because here's what felt off, just felt off. I can teach people how to launch. Like my student Kelly, who came to me, she had never ever launched before. And within 8 months of learning my launch strategy, implementing that into her business, she made over £239,000. And Emma, let's say Emma Deeks, also did exactly the same thing. And in fact, Emma was ready to give up. She'd launched many times before. She was getting to the point where she's like, I'm just fed up. She was got to the exhausted point. And she implemented my launch system and she made 15,000 on her launch just before Christmas. Mojo's back, momentum's back, she gets it. But I was coming across so many people that were maybe like trying to launch, thinking, okay, I need to launch, but they hadn't actually built an audience. Or like Ens, she had launched loads of times, but not built the audience in between. So expecting like, okay, I'm going to grow every time. And actually that didn't happen because the in-between part wasn't done. So I can teach you how to launch and I can show you all the figures from all my students that are launching and are, getting great revenue coming in. But launching once and getting great results is one thing. The key is being able to keep bringing in those big cash injections. And most people get frustrated because what they don't do in between their launches is grow their audience. So they might have a launch strategy, but they don't have an audience growth strategy. And most people think that's really difficult, but there is a really, really simple way of doing it. That's why I've got mine. I don't touch it. I tweak sometimes, I create new resources, but I don't have to get up, show up, get myself on a live like this, for example. I don't have to be in my stories every day promoting. My audience growth strategy is on automation 99% of the time. So I was coming across a lot of people that had that massive thing missing in their business. And it does not matter what type of business that you have. You always have to focus on growing your audience. And that's where the frustration comes. Most people think they've got a sales problem. I'm not selling enough, Emma. I need to sell more of my programs or my offers or my products or whatever. Or I need to recruit more people. But they're not focusing on the audience growth. And actually, so they don't have a sales problem. They have an audience growth problem. And if I was just teaching people to launch, then I'm missing a massive piece of the puzzle. out of that, which is actually building an audience to launch to. Doesn't have to be a big audience. It doesn't have to, you don't have to have 10,000 followers. I think Kelly, for example, with the 239,000 in launch revenue, has actually got like 2,000 followers on Instagram. So it doesn't have to be massive, but you do have to do it. You do have to do it. So that was the first thing. I needed to share how important it was with people to build an email list. Most people are focusing on the wrong metrics. They're focusing on getting more followers, which, come on, it's freaking exhausting. Like getting the algorithms, following all the hacks and funnels of, create 3 reels a day, post 3 reels a day, use these hooks, do this, do that. And you're thinking like, I don't have enough time in this world whilst caring for my children and trying to keep myself alive as well as my kids. Like, I don't have enough time to create all this stuff you're telling me to create, post as many times as you're telling me to post. And not just that, I don't want to do that. That just doesn't feel good to me. Building an email list has been the single best thing that I've ever done in my business. And by the way, if you haven't started focusing on it yet, if you don't have an audience growth strategy to build that list, I didn't have one for the first 7 years of my business. Yes, I could absolutely kick myself now. Just type in the comments and let me know, like, list or no list. So I just want to know, like, do you have a list yet? Or do you not have a list yet? And by the way, I've got a free resource that you can have that shows you how to set it up super, super fast. Morning, Carl. Super, super fast. So I can give you that free resource. But mastering the audience growth, focusing on list building, it meant that last year my list grew by more than 30,000 without me having to show up on social media every day. It meant I did my first affiliate offer. I don't really team up with people and promote their offers. Unless I know 1,000,000% like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I did it for the first time just at the end of like just before the summer holidays. And I got glandular fever, just as I said I would, start affiliating it. However, with a series of emails, I made over £15,000 from my email list, promoting something that I was using that is amazing. And that really got me thinking about the power of an email list, because I was in bed with glandular fever, felt like absolute crap. I was really poorly. And I thought, this is freedom. It's freedom, only because I've grown my email list. And again, this was in the summer. So this was before September when I'd decided, hang on a minute. I've got to teach everybody the true way to get a freedom business. And it's not going to happen overnight. I'm so sorry. It'd be easy for me to say, I can do that in 10 days and you're going to do 10K months and it's going to be so easy. It's not. But has it been easy doing what you've been doing so far? Has it been easy feeling the frustration, feeling overwhelmed, feeling confused, not understanding why you're seeing other people growing, building maybe the same thing that you want to build, knowing that you have so much to offer, but yet it's just not working? No, that's not flipping easy. So I was thinking, I wonder, because we're all so much about the instant results, right? Instant gratification. We know it from Amazon Prime. Like if something takes longer than a day to turn up, we're like, oh my God, what, 5-day deliveries? Crazy. We're all about the instant gratification, but businesses just are not built overnight. And, you're going to have to do some tweaking and twisting. Some things are going to work. Some things are not going to work. You're going to have to spend some time to figure it out. But for me, I'm like, well, you can either spend years being frustrated, or you can get your head down and you can do 10 weeks of really putting in the foundations and the strategies into your business. And then you can start growing. You can start making daily sales. You can start to think about putting a launch structure in place, because now you've built an audience to sell to. Would 10 weeks of your life be worth that? Versus, no, I haven't got time because I've got to try and do this now and I need to make this work now and I got to do this now. And well, you got to put some effort in first, right? You've got to grease the wheels. You've got to fit in this engine into your business of what works, the different strategies that actually work. Building an email list meant that I launched an offer very casually and quietly, if you like. Hey, Cara, good to see you. Very casually and quietly, if you like, and made over 200,000. And what an email list does is it gives you choice. Gives you choice whether to do a launch or not to do a launch. And it's up to you. So building my email list gave me the choice of whether I did that big £250,000 launch or not. And it gave me the choice because I had spent some time building it. I'd put in the hard work. So I knew how to build my audience consistently. I knew how to launch. And now what I was going to master was making daily sales. This was one part of a strategy. I believe you need 4 strategies in your business. Content creation, which then feeds audience growth, which then feeds daily sales, which then feeds launching. 4 core strategies. That's all that you need. Those are just the 4 strategies that you need in any business for it to be successful, for it to actually give you that freedom. So I started to do some tweaking, twisting myself, trying new things. I'm not like an email marketing genius or anything. What I did though was figured out what worked in a way that felt really authentic to me and didn't feel like really salesy and really icky and was like full on hardcore sales, because I just didn't want that. So when I started to master daily sales in a way that didn't burn out my audience with them thinking, oh, all she's doing is selling all the time, I was creating content that was so relaxed. Nobody even sort of looks at it and thinks, oh, this is sales stuff. It's value driven, but I'm not getting stuck in that. I've got to keep nurturing. I've got to keep nurturing. I've got to keep nurturing before I sell. I was just selling straight away, but in a way that was not salesy, it was not icky, it was value driven. So I wanted to do it in a natural way. Started playing around with the content, and now what I needed to do was create a content system. I did not want to be sat at my computer every day thinking about different ways to type the same thing. I did not want to be, going and creating reels and doing carousels and all this stuff, taking hours and hours of my time. I wanted to do it in a way that I could make it really simplified. So content creation is a strategy, but it's also a system. So your strategy, I said this on last night's live, your strategy is the plan, right? The vision for it, why we're doing something. The system is how we do it, step by step. So what I've done is I've created a content system, which is it's not one page, but it's one document. It's one Google Doc. And it takes me 30 minutes, it takes me about 20 minutes actually, but I say 30 minutes to do. And in that one document, I create a week's worth of content. And in 30 minutes. And here's the biggie. It's valuable content, but it also doubles up as sales content. Not like you're used to seeing sales content, but it's natural, it's authentic, it's laid back sales. Every single one of you can do it. And it is so much easier than you think. So much easier. In fact, when I teach this, like my Platinum Inner Circle, I've taught them this, and it kind of seems silly. You're almost like, shouldn't work this. But it does. It does. So laid back sales, it works. Absolutely. I basically turn my to-do list into sales content. Try and have a think about that. How do I do that? One of these emails that I created about 10, 12 days ago now, might be a little bit longer actually, a couple of weeks. It made me £4,588. Believe me, nobody is more shocked than me. I know this stuff works, but I still feel like this is crazy. Remember, I was a police officer. I earned £1,600 a month. So figure that out, 4,588 quid, £1,600 a month. I'd have to rock up at 7 a.m, kit on, ready to go risk my life every day, not leave till probably gone like a couple of hours over my shift, and do that every single day for a month to earn £1,600 take home. So to me, it is not lost on me that you can master building your email list, creating the right kind of content, and make £4,588 from sending an email. Now, disclaimer, this is not going to happen overnight. You've just heard I'm growing my audience consistently, 2,000 new ideal clients every single month going into my email list, right? So I'm not trying to say to you, oh my God, all you're going to do is send an email and you're going to make thousands. It's just not how it works. But if you put the structure in place, if you build these core strategies into your business and you're consistently growing that, because you will be able to when you have the strategies in place, then you start making money. Then you start making the daily sales from your natural content. Then you start building the audience that you can do the bigger like cash injection launches. Well, then you start making money. That's just not like too good to be true. That's just reward for the time and effort that you've put into building these strategies into your business. Thing is, most people won't take the time and effort to put them in. They'd rather like struggle every day trying to figure it all out. Oh, I need to sell today, so I haven't got time to go and learn that. I need to sell now. I think it could just be my Instagram. You guys on Instagram can go and watch this on Facebook too. So I'm sorry if the volume's funny. I don't know why. Sorry. So the reason I walked away from a £250,000 guaranteed revenue launch was to create a program where I taught these strategies, not in the way that is going to build you something overnight of like six-figure business overnight and stuff like that. To tell you honestly that if every business has these strategies in, it will work, it will feel good, and it will genuinely be a freedom-based business. Genuinely. But it's going to take some effort. So I have put this into a 10-week program that is not available yet. The only thing that's available right now is to go onto a VIP waitlist to hear about this program first. So I'm not launching it yet. It's not available yet, but you can join my waitlist to be the first to hear. Now, if you're on the waitlist, you're going to be the people that get the lowest price. You're going to get the biggest bonuses. And let me just say, I love the in-person stuff. So hint, hint on some big bonuses. In fact, I haven't done these bonuses before, so I'm very excited about it. This is what the waitlist is going to give you. It's also going to give you, I'll be just emailing the waitlist and letting you know some things I'm doing behind the scenes in the run-up too. So if you want to jump, if you're on Instagram, you can jump into my bio. If you're on Facebook, you'll probably see the link in the live title. You can type link in the comments and I'll respond and chuck the link in there if you're struggling to find it. But it is in my bios and all those normal places. But this program will cover the core strategies, and there's going to be a limited amount of spaces. It's going to be between 200 to 250. And bear in mind, my email list is going by 2,000 a month, right? So it's really going to be limited spaces. So if you want to be in with a chance of getting it, you really need to be on the wait list, to be perfectly honest. So that's why I walked away from a £250,000 launch. But do you see, when you have these strategies in your business, it's not risky. You're still making daily sales. You can still plan in for a big launch whenever you want to, but you can also have the freedom, the peace of mind, the guaranteed revenue to also step back when you feel like you need to, or when life happens, or you want to go into creative mode again. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Hopefully you can start to think, I need these strategies. Like, I need to have this strategy, like these 4 strategies in my business so that I can run it in a way that feels good, that gives me that freedom, and that means that you can run your business sustainably for years. These are not things that are like, oh, right now you can do this and hack the algorithm and get these results. Now, this is about long-term business success. Okay, I'm going to be here with you again tomorrow. I'm going to be live at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, though. It's going to be a later one tomorrow night. So hopefully you'll be able to join me. I'm going to share with you the name. Now, if you're going onto the waitlist, you might see it. So you might see the meaning behind it if you've known me for a while, and you might not. But if you click on it and sign up for the waitlist, you'll see that name, and you might guess where I'm coming from. I'm actually having a really big throughout the year rebrand on everything, and it's going to look a lot different. The content that I'm putting out there is going to be different as well. So the secret will officially be out tomorrow. So hopefully you'll join me 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Don't forget, click on the link, join the wait list, get on it. Don't miss out on this one. It's going to be absolutely amazing. All right, I'll catch you guys tomorrow.